To make a cyanotype, you are going to need a cotton wool bud, clear plastic and a permanent marker pen. With your marker pen you should aim to colour in the black areas first. The biggest areas are going to be easiest and quickest to do. Followed by some of the more tricky smaller areas, particularly where you've got dappling and dashes and dots to create some of the texture and shadowing. Next you should start to look at the areas that are highly detailed, like where the eyelashes are. You should use the tip of the marker pen, not using very much pressure and keeping it very upright. This will allow you to get really fine, thin lines and get your work more accurate. If you're finding it difficult to hold the pen at certain angles, then turn the image round. To do the smudging, you're going to need a cotton wool bud. You're also only going to have about 4 or 5 seconds before the marker pen dries, so you're going to have to be very quick. This can be quite tricky because you're going to have to change from holding the marker pen in your hand to then switching to the cotton wool bud holding it in your hand. If you're very dexterous, you might be able to use the pen in one hand and the cotton wool bud in the other, but you might not be as accurate using your wrong hand. Okay. Direction is really important when you're doing the smudging. Just like when you're doing a drawing or a painting, the brush strokes or the pencil marks need to be in the correct direction to reflect the surface. So if we're looking at the eye area, particularly this sort of larger bit of shading in the foreground, you can see that there's actually a gentle curve in two slightly different directions. It's not completely straight. If it's completely straight, then you're going to end up with a very flat looking image. I'm just going to highlight a few more of the areas where we're looking for really clear, definite direction to our smudging. You will notice that with the smudging that you do get sort of slightly overlapping marks, which is a quality that you get with felt tip pens and marker pens, so you shouldn't worry about that too much. You should also notice there are a lot of areas where you're putting in marks where they're not all joined up. I'm going to highlight these in blue. So for example, we do have the eyeball here, but you will also notice, if I rub that out, that actually that outline does not go all the way around that eyeball shape, okay, or the iris shape. So you need to make sure that you have a broken outline, not a thick outline that goes all the way around. Okay, and then you can work back into small areas of shading. The only area where I haven't really gone for a definite direction is down in the bottom corner. I'll highlight that in a green, just down here. And I've just sort of almost moved the cotton wool bud round in circles. So if you keep to the directions that are on here, it should help you make an image that looks more 3D. So you've finished drawing out your cyanotype. Now you need to expose the image. So by exposing we mean letting light to get to the image. There are chemicals on the paper that react to light, and that's what builds the image for you. It's a very old-fashioned photography technique. Place the plastic that you've just been drawing on onto the overhead projector. The side that you've been drawing on with the marker pen needs to be face down. Okay, then you're going to place the cyanotype paper on top of the plastic with the bluest side facing down. Then after that you're going to place a black piece of card over the top. You need to make sure when you're doing this you're not moving the image around, that the paper isn't slipping about. You have to be very careful, otherwise you'll get a blurred image. You need to leave the image and the plastic and the card and the paper all on the projector for 8 minutes undisturbed. You need to make a check on your watch or set a stopwatch so that you don't miss that time. Once that time is up, you then need to take your cyanotype paper, the blue paper, and take that over to a sink and rinse it under some water for no longer than about 30 seconds. Then you can take it over to the drying rack. Before you take it to the drying rack, make sure the little drips have dripped off in the sink first of all, otherwise we're going to have mess all over the floor. And that's it.